All right, let's talk about something real. For so many of us who start a business, that dream can start to feel, well, it can feel like a monster, a cash-eating monster, to be exact. Today, we're going to show you exactly how to tame that beast. This is your guide to profit first. And we're going to break this down into 4 super simple parts. First step, we'll expose the entrepreneur's trap. That's the flawed thinking that keeps so many businesses just scraping by. Then we'll get into the small plate principle, which is this amazing psychological trick for building profit. After that, it's all practical with a modern envelope system. And we'll wrap up with your first profitable step, something you can literally do the second this is over. Sound familiar? You are working harder than you've ever worked in your life, but your business just seems to inhale every single dollar that comes through the door. It's this exhausting cycle of empty bank accounts, mounting debt, and just stress. You built something amazing from nothing, and somehow it turned into this thing that's always hungry. So what is actually going on here? I can promise you it's not that you're not working hard enough, and it's not that you aren't smart enough. The problem is the system you're using. It's a trap. And it's built on a formula that is fundamentally, completely backward. See, here's the thing. All that traditional accounting stuff, on paper, it makes perfect mathematical sense. But, and this is the absolute key, it makes zero human sense. It actually works against our natural behaviors. And this slide right here, this is the entire ballgame. On the left, you've got the old way. Sales minus expenses equals profit. This makes profit a leftover, right? It's an afterthought. But look at the formula on the right. This is the profit first way. Sales minus profit equals expenses. It's a tiny little flip, but it changes everything. It makes profit a plan, not just a hope. And that's the trap in a nutshell. When profit comes last, we basically forget about it. Our brains just focus on what's right in front of us, making sales and paying bills. So we sell, we spend whatever we think we need to, and then we look at what's left over. And usually, it's just scraps, if you're lucky. Okay, so if the old system is totally broken, how do we fix it? Well, the answer doesn't start with a fancy spreadsheet. It starts with a little bit of psychology. This is where we get to a really cool principle that changes the whole game. It all comes down to understanding something called Parkinson's law. Now, that sounds kind of academic, but the idea is incredibly simple. Demand just expands to meet supply. It's true for time, it's true for food, and you'd better believe it's true for money. Let me put it another way. Whatever money is available, we will find a way to spend it. It's just how we're wired. If you look at your bank account and see 10 grand in there, you instinctively operate your business like you have 10 grand to spend. The money just disappears. Our expenses have a funny way of rising to meet our income. And this right here is the big aha moment. Think about it like you're on a diet. If you use a huge dinner plate, what do? You fill it up and you eat everything on it. But if you switch to a smaller plate, you naturally serve yourself less and you eat less, all without trying to force a new habit. We're going to do the exact same thing with our business finances. We're not trying to change who you are, we're changing the plates. So how do we actually create these small plates for our money? Well, we use a system that our grandparents would probably recognize, but we're giving it a modern twist. Welcome to the new envelope system. You remember that, right? Maybe you had a grandparent who had physical envelopes with cash inside for groceries or rent. We're doing the exact same thing, but instead of paper envelopes, we're using bank accounts. The principle is the same. You give every dollar a job before you're tempted to spend it somewhere else. And here are the 5 accounts you're going to start with. First, you have your income account. All your revenue goes in there. Then you're going to set up 4 others. A profit account, an owner's comp account to pay yourself, a tax account for Uncle Sam, and finally, your OPEX account. That's for operating expenses. Let's go back to our food analogy for a second. Your income account is the big serving tray with all the food, or in this case, money. The other 4 accounts, those are your small plates. A couple times a month, say on the 10th and the 25th, you take money from the tray and you serve it onto each of these little plates. And here's the magic trick. You only pay your business bills from what's on the OPEX plate. Suddenly, you're forced to be more innovative, more frugal, because you're working with less. Now, I know this might sound like a whole big thing to set up, but getting started is actually incredibly simple. So let's talk about the one tiny step you can take today to start building this habit of being profitable. The biggest mistake people make when they try to change something is they go too big too fast. We're not going to do that. The key here is to lower the bars so much that it's practically impossible to fail. We're going for momentum here, not burnout. So, how small are we talking? 1%. That's it. So small you won't even notice it's gone. But what it will do is start building the habit, the muscle memory that's going to completely change your business. So here's your homework, your exact instructions. First, go open a new savings account. And here's a pro tip. Open it at a completely different bank than your main one. It just removes temptation. Second, label that account profit. Then, every single time money gets deposited into your business, immediately transfer just 1% of that into your new profit account. And then, don't touch it. Just let it sit there.
Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's a huge shift in how you think. We've got to stop treating profit like it's some lottery ticket we might win someday if we get lucky. This system changes everything. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. What if profitability wasn't some big event you're always hoping for, but instead it was just a simple habit you build every single day?